Hi, welcome to Purpose Points. It's the Life Engineer Chiquita L. How are you today? I feel like it's been so long since we have had this time together, and so much has happened since that time. I want to talk to you about a couple of things on today. One, I want to talk, of course, about living in your purpose and living on purpose. With that, I want to talk to you about how to live in your miracle. How many of you believe in miracles? And it is great that we are in the season of miracles. And I'm really excited to be here today. Like I mentioned, so much has happened since we were last together. So much has taken place in my life. From car accidents, and so life has brought me a few different things since we were last together. First, a car accident, then my middle child being hospitalized, submitting for partial fulfillment of my PhD, celebrating the 8th anniversary of my business. Just so much has happened, and so many things have taken place. The publishing of my 3rd book and getting that out. So much has happened and taken place, but I want to talk a little bit about some things I learned while I stayed at the hospital with my 3rd child, with my middle child. So I want to talk to you about that for a minute, because I do believe in miracles, and I'm excited to share this during a season of miracles and when we celebrate the miraculous birth of Jesus Christ. But I want to talk to you because I told you so long ago, I know that I'm a miracle, but I know I'm not alone, because I know that you're a miracle as well. So let's talk about some things that I learned while I was there in the hospital. So while there, one, if you're going to live a life of purpose and you're going to live a life on purpose, you're going to live a life of miracles. How do you, though, live in your miracle? How do you embrace that moment, that miraculous moment? So let's talk about that for a minute. One of the first things that you have to do if you are going to live in your miracle is that you have to stop. Stop explaining your miracle. Stop trying to give explanation to it. Stop trying to give explanation to an unexplained phenomena. It doesn't matter whether you're standing in the need of a miracle right now, or you're literally walking out a miracle right now. You need to stop trying to explain your miracle, your need for a miracle, because miracles are unexplained phenomena. When you begin to explain and give definition to it, but then it's no longer a miracle. So when you live on purpose, not everything is going to make sense that is taking place in your life. And it shouldn't make sense. So miracles really should not make sense. Miracles should make silence. I told you before that God doesn't make mistakes. God makes miracles. And if you're going to live in your miracle, you need to stop trying to give explanation to it. So miracles should not make sense to you, and it wouldn't make sense for you to try to explain it to anyone else. So instead of trying to explain your miracle, accept it. Accept it. Because miracles shouldn't make sense. They should make silence. In fact, your miracle should leave you speechless. The moments that you're going to remember most in your life are the moments that took your breath away. The moments that you could not explain. The moments that left you absolutely speechless. So When I was there in the hospital, there were little moments that I realized the miracles that were taking place, the miracles that were happening. And in those moments, they left me in awe. They left me speechless. I always pray that I live a life, and I live my life in a way that I don't become comfortable with the miracle of life. I told you, life is about birth, living is about purpose. But you don't want to become so comfortable with life that you forget to be in amazement of living. See, when you live and you actually experience life, when you sit out and you actually look at the amazement of God's creation, because God has created many wonderful things. And if his creation no longer leaves you in awe, I promise you the problem is not with the creation, the problem is with you. Because you become so comfortable with it that it no longer amazes you. So when it comes to miracles, you need to stop trying to explain everything, because not everything has an explanation. At least not one that man can fathom. So learn to be speechless in some of your moments. Miracles, then, if you're going to live in your miracle, then you need to learn to speak life. Speak life to your miracle. Speak life to your situation. Learn to stop speaking doubt and fear, especially when you're expecting a miracle and when you're in need of a miracle. In the moments that we spent in the hospital, I had to absolutely speak life. So what I did was I played the scripture. I played scriptures. I played the Word of God to infuse that atmosphere with life. And I specifically targeted healing scriptures and scriptures on health and wellness, because I wanted to infuse that atmosphere with life. I wanted to infuse that atmosphere. And you need to learn to speak life into your atmosphere. Create an atmosphere of life, not one of doubt and fear. Stop feeding your fear. Stop listening to and playing music and things that bring fear. But create an atmosphere of hope. Create an atmosphere of life. I told my daughter while we were there in the hospital that we were just going to rest in God's purpose and God's plan. And whatever that process was, we weren't going to be impatient about it or with it, but we were just going to simply rest in it. Why? Because we were going to rest in an atmosphere of life. I was so convinced that she was healed. And then whatever that process brought us to and through, we just needed to rest in it. But we always spoke life. We had laughter there, even in the hospital. And even in her hospital room, we had laughter. You know, we shared moments. I told her, I said, wow. I said, this is the most, because, you know, when you have multiple children, a lot of times it's hard to just get that quality time with one. But me and her had a whole week that we spent just together. And we had countless moments, and we made the most of that. And one of the ways that we did that is by speaking life. You need to learn to speak life into your situation and speak life to your miracle. So faith follows belief. Doubt will often follow your attempt to explain your miracle. because in your attempt to explain it, because it doesn't make sense, you begin to doubt. That's why I told you, first and foremost, stop explaining your miracles. Then secondly, speak life. Speak life into your situation. Speak life into your miracle. Speak life to yourself. Then third, I want you to surround yourself with miracle people. What does that mean? So I want you to surround yourself with miracle people. Surround yourself with positive people who bring positive energy, who bring life. Surround yourself with them. So pick up your cell phone. Let's take out your cell phone for a minute. I want you to look back through your call history and look at the 5 people that you spent the most time talking to. Got it? Got those 5 people. Look at your call history. Look at how much time you spent talking and who those 5 individuals that you spent that time talking to. Because your life is a reflection of those that you spend the most time with. So if you look at the sum total of those 5 people, you have your life. Now, if for whatever reason you don't like what you just saw and what you just discovered, then I want you to challenge and change your circle. You need to weed negative people out of your life. You know, when you're going through things, you don't need all the naysayers around you. And in that moment that we were in the hospital, I didn't have time for negative energy. I didn't have time for negative people. I didn't have time for people who didn't pray. Where are your prayer warriors at? Where are your prayer circles at? Who's got you covered in prayer for real? I didn't have time for negative people. Didn't allow any negative people to come up to the hospital to visit. Why? Because we were living in our miracle. Living on purpose and in purpose. So you need to rid your life of negative people. Think about what you give the most energy. Because whatever you give the most energy to is what's growing your life. So if you give energy to negativity, and to negative people, that's what's going to grow in your life. Your life is going to begin to reflect all those images. So you need to learn to surround yourself with miracle people. And then finally, so I'm borrowing this one today from Dr. Sam Chan. I thought it was amazing in what he said. But he said that you need to feed your miracle. Feed your miracle. Typically when a miracle takes place in our lives, what we do is we don't feed it. We televise it. We publish it. We broadcast it. You know, we share it live. We tweet about it. We post about it. But you've got to feed that miracle. So as we were in the hospital, one of the miracles that took place for us in that hospital was that my child was able to begin eating again. And guess what? When she began eating again, I didn't tweet about it. We fed her. We fed her. Because you got to learn to feed your miracle. I reached out and a prayer community responded amazingly. Something that happened. I was already an intercessor, prayer warrior, praying before. But here's the other amazing, miraculous thing that happened. So many reached back for prayer. I need healing in this area. I need healing in that area. So many have reached out, and so many opportunities I dare not pass up. Why? Because I need to feed my miracle. We witnessed and received a miracle of healing. So guess what we now need to do? Reciprocate, keep feeding that miracle of healing. So as we were receiving phone calls and text messages of those who were in the hospital, in comas, those who had had accidents, who had fell ill to this, brain cancer, numerous things that were taking place. Guess what? We're feeding a miracle. We're praying. We're creating atmospheres for miracles to take place, and continuing to do that, and not feeding into negativity, not feeding into doubt, not feeding into fear. Feeding our faith, feeding our miracle. So I want to encourage you today to live in your miracle. Live on purpose and live in your purpose. I told you, and I believe this is a miracle that is going to take place, and we're going to participate in it, because I want to encourage and I want to spark a million people to live in their purpose. Because you're a miracle. Your life is miraculous. God doesn't produce mistakes. God produces miracles. And you're one. So I want you to live on purpose. I want you to live in your purpose, and I want you to live in your miracle today. In this season of miracles, I want you to live in yours. I want you to live in yours. If you have a miracle in the area of finances, you need to live in it. Teach others how. Teach others how to be victorious in the area of finances. If you're a miracle, whatever area your miracle is in, whatever your miracle is, you need to learn to feed it. You feed it by reproducing miracles in that area. So I want you today to be encouraged. I want you to have hope today. I want you to live on purpose, and I want you to live in your purpose. Again, I'm Chiquita L, your life engineer. I'm so encouraged today, because as I mentioned, third book completed while there in the hospital. And so here we are. So first book, Warring Women. Second book, The 1 Hour Principle. Now this third book is an anthology with some amazing women, where we share our stories of purpose. We share our stories of purpose and our experiences with purpose, because we want to help to release purpose in others. Purpose Shakers is coming December 6th for it. Check Amazon for it. Check the website.